Hello friends, my name is Civil Sixpence. Today we are building a Nordic Viking training ground with archery practice, dummies, and a campfire. I'm using Mizuno 16 texture pack, so some blocks may look different. The link is in the description. You'll need a 15 by 13 area. Grab the materials on the screen and build along with me. Let's get started. So even though you're going to need a 15 by 13 space, the inner fence area is going to be a 13 by 11. I am using acacia fencing. With the texture pack that I'm using, I really do like the way that it appears. Each corner I am using stripped spruce logs, and I'm going to make each one 3 high. I'm using this corner right here as the opening entrance into the training ground, and I'm leaving it just a little off center, which I'm doing for aesthetics, so you just make it the way that you want it. It's your build. I'm breaking into the acacia fencing right here because I'm going to be placing in the archery portion of our training grounds. I'm using stripped spruce with acacia fencing as well here, and another layer of stripped spruce logs, and we will come back to this later to do some more detailing and decoration. In the meantime, I'm going to be filling the back half of the archery portion of the training ground with mossy cobble. I will not leave it all just cobble. I'm just going to be placing the blocks here for a placeholder, and then later I'm going to go in and texturize it using a variety of different blocks to include gravel and mossy brick and andesite. And with that, I'm going to be going back into our little archery cubby and adding some spruce trap doors just so that it looks like it's all attached. This is a part of the detailing. It doesn't have any kind of functionality, it just looks really nice. I do find that these trapped doors and the barrels look a lot similar, so I'm going to be using that also as a transition from the top portion all the way down to the bases, and then I'm going to echo that amongst all of the posts that I have created so far using acacia fencing, just adding a little division here. Where you want to place it will just depend on how much walkway and space that you want to provide for both the campfire area and the archery portion of the training grounds. I just built my little dummies with an acacia fence with a target and then a carved pumpkin, and then I'm lining the top portion of that little cubby with some spruce buttons. Right in the corner is just like a little supply corner. I'm just building it up with some spruce planks and then capping it with some campfires, which I will extinguish, and then start trimming underneath it with some acacia fencing as if it's support for the little awning that I've created. And then we're just going to fill that up with some decorations. I'm putting a campfire down and then lining that with some spruce trap doors. I'm going to put a barrel in. If you want to add other kind of decorations, that's fine. If you want to make something more of that, it's your build. You do it the way you want. But we're going to move on to the campfire right here, and I'm going to use a combination of different mossy cobblestones, some cobble bricks, stairs, walls, and I will later come back around with some stones so that they kind of look like little rocks and pebbles all the way around. And then in the inside, I am using around 5 campfires. It's a pretty large campfire right here for all of the people who are out here training. So for the people who absolutely love fighting with their swords and their shields, here are 2 training dummies that I'm putting here, which is basically just armor stand with some armor on it. If you have a preference on that too, or maybe you have posable armors, I bet that would look really cool too. Now the beams above the archery cubby, I'm just going to be putting an oak stair upside down on both the top and the bottom one. I think that just adds kind of like a spiky look to it, since we can't really have like dripstone hanging off sideways. But it's the best that I got. So as for a pathway, your town or your village may already have a path combination of blocks that you want to use, in which case I'm not here to try to convince you to do what I always do, but making your pathway blendable, or be able to fit in with your town. You use the blocks that you want. Here I'm using rooted dirt, coarse dirt, packed mud, gravel. I use mossy cobble. I might use mossy brick in here too, and I just keep filling it in random. This is probably the most random thing that I will do this whole time. I really have no rhyme and reason. Oh, and I also used pathway. I forgot that too. Once I'm satisfied with my pathway, or once you're satisfied with your pathway, I'm just going to throw in a whole lot of little stone buttons that kind of look like pebbles or little rocks, just to give it a more outdoorsy aesthetic look. And then we're just going to texturize that back wall that I've had with the cobble, and I'm adding in different layers such as stairs and slabs, but I'm going to mix up that texture to use, it's already been built with the mossy cobble, but I'm going to add in mossy brick, I'm going to add in gravel, I'm going to add in andesite. They're going to be stuck in at random places. I really did think, after I had already finished the build, to go back and kind of ponder on some of the things that I should have done. You can add in stairs so that it looks like maybe a brick has been missing, or some of the rocks have already kind of fallen out of place, and that's just another way to add a lot of texture to it. And really never underestimate the foliage. It just adds a lot of aesthetics and brings appeal to your build without even doing anything, and so it brings it more to life, makes your game a little bit more enjoyable. Adding those saplings and just bone milling them into place, adding leaves as bushes or what have you. And so then going back into all of my posts that I've created, I'm going to put a campfire down, and I'm going to line them with spruce trapdoors, and that's going to add to our lighting as well. It's going to help keep the place well lit while also staying in the theme that we're trying to create. Now we will be going back in, and we're going to be adding in some lanterns in a minute. The more lighting we have, the safer it's going to be for you to play with. We're going to go in real quick, and we're going to add some hay bales in various places so that it looks like it's on standby. But because this is a training build, we're also going to be adding some random posts just outside of our training ground, and it's going to include some dripstone at the top so that it kind of looks like they've made spikes the very top of it. I'm going to also line those with a barrel in the center one so that it matches the other posts that we've already had. Now secretly that's kind of like extra storage, but aesthetically it looks more like support for the beam, so it becomes stronger. Going back in with some spruce leaves, I'm just going to be plugging in some bushes here and there and adding extra foliage. My friend would tease me about my buttons, but I'm going to tell you, I don't think we can have enough buttons. To me, they just kind of look like wooden pegs or stakes that's going to hold the board in place. I'm just going to give another lining of buttons across my little archery cubby that I've made, add in some lanterns with some iron bars so that they make them nice and tall, with some lanterns hanging off just about everywhere. Lots of lighting, lots of space, lots of places to train. And from here I'm just kind of looking over. If I think it needs a hay bale, I'm going to put a hay bale there. If it needs another barrel, we're going to put a barrel there. Now it's just about clutter and just making it look like this is something that we are well using and getting the most out of it. We're going to throw in a few more trees and call it a day. I've often said that the build isn't done until you look at it and it tells you it's done. If you still see things that needs to be added, then you're not done. Until then, I think mine is. Thanks for hanging out at the training grounds today. If you built this in your world, tell me about it in the comments below. For Nordic and Viking builds, check out the playlist in the description. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and share it with friends. Stay cozy, stay brave, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.